Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to the Drainage District Board of Directors for today, July 3rd, 2012. Present are Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Let's see. Is there anybody sign up? On our consent agenda,
No concerns, Judge.
Move approval of consent agenda?
Second.
those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4,
Item 4, requesting approval of the district's liability property re-rate exposure summary with Texas Municipal League TML for general liability, errors and omissions, auto liability, physical damage, property, equipment schedule, and workers' compensation. Judge, Commissioners, last week there was some questions regarding our modifier and some other issues associated with it. Laura's here to give you a brief presentation after a discussion with county staff.
Good morning, Judge.
good morning. Hey, Mark, I just started the meeting, but, no, it's okay. We'll do it this afternoon.
I requested this
3 or 4.
information from TML. We currently have a .94
Yeah,
modifier.
thanks.
I compared it with the counties, or I questioned with the counties. The county currently, it's hard to compare because the county has built up an equity with the self-insurance workers' comp. So we haven't been a part of it. So it's hard to compare the different rates.
What is the modifier? I think that was a question that
The
Commissioner
modifier for the
Flores wanted to
county,
know.
at one point, it was .87.
0.87? That's our present modifier?
For the county?
No, for the drainage district.
Oh, for the drainage district, it's .94. And in addition to the modifier, we also get discounts for being associated with the Texas Municipal League for 7 years of 20% discount. So all of that would go into the premiums that we pay in.
Is the modifier with or without the discount?
Excuse me?
Is the modifier that you listed, is that with the discount?
No. The discount is in addition to the modifier. If you look on page 2, we have the actual classification codes with the rates times the 146 is all of workers' comp premiums. Then we have the experience modifier of .94, which makes our contributions of 138,131. After that, we have a fund discount of 20%. And actually, since we pay up front at the beginning, we also receive a 2% discount in addition to that.
So what is our exposure then? What are we covered for?
This is for workers' compensation. The other items are for the, what is it,
You got it with, for general liability and errors and
Yes.
omissions, auto liability. What are the limits?
the limits are the same as the counties. I reviewed them with the ones with current coverage that we have. The only difference is that our deductibles are less
Our deductibles are what?
than the counties.
How much less, or what is?
We have for automobile, the deductibles are about 1,000 as compared to the counties. I think they might be like 10 or 15. I would need to. 10,000.
Okay. All right.
We have Raul here from the county. Do you have any specific questions?
And I might add that TML is a nonprofit. I mean, we're able to obtain coverage from them. We can at any point terminate coverage and go out for proposals, if that is the wish of the board.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
So move.
Is there a second to approve?
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Number 5,
Number 5, authorization to enter a contract with McAllen Construction, Inc. on the repair of the HP at South Ranch, West Boundary Weir Number 2, Willacy County. We've been working with McAllen Construction with the consultants and legal counsel, I guess, for about a month already. We have a cost on the repairs of the weir estimated at $661,616. It is a force account project. Legal has reviewed the contract. He would like to have one final review of the contract before moving forward. And this is the cost for the labor associated with the reconstruction of the weir.
Okay, so you don't want action at this point then?
Yes, sir, we would like action subject to legal counsel final
Subject
review, and
to-
I'll let Steve make a comment.
Just the action would be approval subject to legal review.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, approval and concurrence with proposed textile plans for State Highway Improvement CSJ 066901043086201047 FM 681 to FM 2221 and CSJ 0862011037 FM 2221. We've reviewed the plans, everything is in order, but as the board requested, we bring these plans for general information for the board.
Where's the FM 681?
It's over on the west side, it's over in precinct number 3, Commissioner, where 107 continues going west. We do have some representatives here from L&G that can answer any technical questions the board might have. And I'll have them give you the specific limits on it, Commissioner, that way you're familiar with it.
My name is Robert Pacheco with LNG Engineering. Good morning. The project
sir.
is broken into 2 segments from TxDOT. It's from west of La Homa to west of Moorfield along FM 681, 2221, and then from west of Moorfield to 107, Conway, on the western portion.
And these projects are being developed by TxDOT, am I correct?
Yes, these are going to be led by TxDOT in September of 2012, and they've submitted all the paperwork up to Austin, so they're just requesting the concurrence from the Drainage District and the county on the title sheet.
So move.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7, approval and concurrence with proposed TxDOT plans for state highway improvements, CSJ 05507-129, US 281, FM 2812 to FM 162, and CSJ 025507-128, extension from FM 162-490. This is in precinct number 4. This is the US 281, in which the district came to this board last week, got an approval on our participation of it. The TxDOT-led project also.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We have nothing under closed session unless the board wishes to entertain an item.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Well, we have a few minutes left before we can convene our regular meeting. We'll be in recess. We're ready to convene our regular meeting for the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, July the 3rd, 2012. Present are Commissioners Quintanilla, Commissioner Palacios, Tito, Palacios, Joseph, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, to the republic that stands one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognize that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. In your name we pray, O Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Item number 4, our consent agenda.
We don't have any concerns, Judge. Recommend approval, and no one else has concerns.
Judge, Commissioners, actually, there is one that my office has, and I'm going to ask for no action because I want to seek clarification. Then I'd like to pull item 8A from the consent agenda. 8A.
I need a motion to approve with accepting 8A.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm asking for no action under consent agenda item 8A. I want to seek some clarification on that item.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Item 5.
Item 5, sorry, Judge. There is no action right now under item 5A, 1 and 2, unless there's action further down the agenda. Item 5B, I'm asking for approval of a settlement check in the amount of $300.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 5C for the Texas AgriLife Extension, I'm requesting permission for Adelita Munoz to travel to attend the 2012 TEA FCS meeting from July 24th to 26th. This would be at Horseshoe Bay, Texas.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by, yes, sir.
We had a comment regarding the 5C1 and 2 in reference to the completion of the forms. Are we going to do that, but are we going to go back and?
Yes, that's going to be clarified. There will be, there'll only be one expense on behalf of the county.
Okay. One of the issues was that the form didn't specify that the funding source for the expenses.
That will be clarified for you, Mr.
Okay.
Ufracio.
All right, thank you.
For the record, we've been joined by Commissioner Flores, Precinct 3. And moving on, next item,
Judge, we need a vote on C1.
Move for approval. Second.
those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And C2 would be the same request for Nora Garza, Cristina Perez, and Jenny Perales to travel to Alice. This would only be the use of a county vehicle in this particular case, and this is for a
Second.
workshop.
Check.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, I believe we have item 6. I do believe we have a constable.
Item 6A, Constable Precinct 1.
Avila is in the audience for that. There he is.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Constable.
I'm here this morning for, hopefully for approval from the Commissioners Court on a dog that was donated to the precinct by a gentleman by the name of Billy Smith from the Laredo Job Corps program. The dog is estimated value at $7,800.
How much?
$7,800.
Wow.
And I'm really looking forward to having this dog come and work for us and being part of our department. It would also be used in helping other agencies at any time, whether it be the state or federal agency or local agencies. They may need a dog. This dog will be trained in narcotics and also in tracking.
Are you already set up for a canine unit?
Sir?
Are we already set up for a canine unit?
Well, we're working on that right now. The deputy I'm looking forward in being responsible for the dog is Deputy Quiroz.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item B.
Judge, Commissioner, I don't see anyone present from Constable Precinct 2's. But this is the appropriation of the Operation Stone Garden funds, and the total amount is $5,673.32.
All right.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, we also have for Precinct Constable 3, the same Operation Stone Garden. I don't see a representative, so if it pleases the court, it is the appropriation of Operation Stone Garden funds, and this would be for Constable Precinct 3 Department, and that amount is $14,900.27.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Our Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
On Stone Garden grants, or authorization and approval to accept the extension for Stone Garden 2010. The new termination date will be October 31st of 12.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've got some comments regarding that item. We have some issues with the form, the PAR form, and also the funding for the supplemental pay is not in place. According to Budget and Management, the transfer will be made later. Just a comment. Presently, the funding is not in place.
We'll go ahead and rescind my motion.
Approve it
to go ahead and
subject to
approve
funding.
Subject to that, Judge, subject to funding.
Would that be acceptable?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, sir, authorization and approval for the county judge to, as authorized official, to
Move to
sign the requirement documents.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On item B, sir, it's a courthouse security. We're approval of employee transfer as follows pursuant to Section 3.49 of the Civil Service Commission rules, taking a deputy from our general fund and transferring him to the courthouse security.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
1 and 2.
Those in
One and
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Concern on it.
That was on the
Thank you, sir.
7B.
Item 8, our DA's office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. We're asking approval to create the following temporary part-time positions not to exceed 6 months and/or 12/31/2012.
Move for approval of A, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Second.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
comment on the 8A3. This item is going to be funded within the budget, so there's no need to make a transfer or appropriate any funding.
There's no action required on 8.3.
Is that correct, Valde?
Yes. In
All
this
right.
particular case, yes.
Move for approval of
In this
AA,
particular
1,
case, yes.
2, and 4. Second on that, and no action on 3.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 9, our county clerk.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. For the record, Annette Muñiz, Chief Deputy for Arturo Guajardo Jr., County Clerk. We're requesting a temporary position that is out of our archive account, and it is to run through December 31st of 2012. We did speak to budget. The money is already there. It's from money that's lapsed throughout the year out of the archive account.
Move to approve items 1, 2, and 3,
Second.
Judge.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries as to A, 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 10, our district clerk.
Judge, Commissioners, we're waiting for Ricardo Contreras from the District Clerk's office, so we're asking if we can table the item until he gets here.
All right, we'll come back to item 10. Item 11, our health department.
I don't believe there's any action today under our discussion, item 11A. Judge, Commissioners, for item 12A for the Information Technology Department, I'm asking for no action under item 12A. I'll let Mr. Ramirez take care of 12B.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, sir.
Commissioners. Item 12B, and this is, as per the direction of the court, to create 2 temporary GIS clerk positions to continue work on the LUCA program. We've still quite a bit of rural blocks to count. The ones that we have counted, we've yielded some very important data, and this will continue to help our efforts to challenge the census figures.
Move for approval of B1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
Item 13,
Judge, Commissioners, item 13 is for the HIDA, and so they're going to request no action at this time.
No action.
Yes, sir.
all right, sir.
We do have the district clerk's office.
We have the
Item 14,
Judge,
District Clerk.
Judge, we have the district clerk.
oh, just a minute, sir, let me move back to item number 10A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I apologize for the delay. Mrs. Hinojosa sends her regrets. She was supposed to be here this morning. Regrettably, she could not be with us today. My name is Ricardo Contreras, and I'm here on behalf of the District Clerk's Office. If you guys, gentlemen, recall last week's agenda item presented by Mr. Dick Wade, he is the developer and system engineer at the DA's office, and he was here regarding the county's efforts to report final dispositions of cases for adult arrests recorded for the calendar years 2006 through 2010. HB 2730 amends Article 21 of the Code of Criminal Procedure to establish a local data advisory board to develop a data reporting improvement plan to ensure the county takes the steps necessary for the county's average disposition completeness percentage to be equal to or greater than 90% in order to be eligible to apply for new grants through the federally funded Justice Assistance Grant Program. As Mr. Wade announced last week, and as you all will know, the county is at 90% disposition completeness. Commissioners Court originally established the Local Data Advisory Board on October 13th, 2009, shortly after HB 2730 was signed into law. However, at that time, according to DPS, the County of Hidalgo had an average completeness of 90%, and so the board was dismantled and has been active since then. Hence, we are here today to reestablish the advisory board, which pursuant to Article 60.09B may include, one, the sheriff of the county or the sheriff's designee, and at this time, I believe we have a representative of each one of these entities, and that is Lieutenant Richard Osuna. We can ask him to please stand. And he may not be here at this time, so we'll move on. The second entity is an attorney who represents the state in the district courts of the county, and that would be Kelly McCormick. She's a felony prosecutor with the DA's office. I don't know if she's here this morning. No? Three, an attorney who represents the state in the county courts of the county. That's Monica Auger, misdemeanor prosecutor, DA's office. Four, the clerk of the district courts of the county or the clerk's designee. That would be Ms. Adriana Garcia. She is the assistant chief deputy with the district clerk's office, and she is right back here. Five, the clerk for the county courts of the county or the clerk's designee. That would be Ms. Annette Muniz with the county clerk's office, chief deputy. The police chief of the municipality with the greatest population located in the county, or the chief's designee, and that would be Mr. Victor Rodriguez with the city of McAllen, chief of police. I'm not sure if he's here this morning. Seven, a representative of the county's automated data processing service, which, if the county performs those services, and that would be Mr. Renan Ramirez, Hidalgo County Chief Information Officer. He was here just a few moments ago. And a representative of an entity with whom the county contracts for automated data processing services, and that is not applicable. So, if the court does not have any questions or objections, we respectfully request your approval of reestablishing the Local Data Advisory Board. Mike? Oh, and Mr. Dick Wade, who I referenced earlier, and he's a developer and system engineer for the DA's office.
And the purpose of this board is to do what, sir?
They are to ensure that the county is in compliance of disposition completeness, and we have to meet a 90% compliance with DPS. And each one of these entities play a part, an integral part in ensuring that we fulfill this.
And is there a deadline for a report?
We are in the process. In fact, Mr. Dick Wade last week presented the efforts that the county has taken in order to ensure that we are in completeness. As I mentioned earlier, the county is now, as of today, 90%.
All right.
At 90%?
The structure of this committee would be strictly as an advisory role, correct?
Correct.
I did move to approve, Judge.
And as I mentioned, the court did approve the establishment of the Local Data Advisory Board back in 2009. And so we are just here.
We have a motion and a second to approve the reestablishment of this board. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Happy
sir.
4th of July.
Item 14, our urban county.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, Mayor.
Item A, this Urban County Program is requesting approval of a budget and program amendment for the City of Peñitas, Urban County Program years 15, 22, and 23. The amendment will decrease the water, sewer, and street improvements activities and net funding to the Parks Recreation Facilities activity for improvements to the Veterans Memorial Site located in the City of Peñitas Memorial Park.
To approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, Urban County Program for Precinct Number 3 is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with 2GS LLC, being the lowest bidder, meeting all specifications and all requirements for the Texas Department of Agriculture Colonia Economic Distress Area Program, CDAP, contract number 71195, Rehabilitation Single Unit Sewer Service Project, Village of Los Ebanos, Cuevitas, Rancho Subdivision, and Valle Vista Subdivision, the amount of $278,750. The project involves first-time sewer service connection to 223 low to moderate income households in Los Ebanos, Cuevitas, Rancho Subdivision, Valle Vista, Colonia areas. Construction shall include the installation of 223 service yard lines, tap fees, and the decommission of existing septic tanks.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Good
motion
job on
carries.
that, Commissioner.
Item C, Urban County Program on behalf of the City of Peñitas, City of Edcouch, and Precinct Number 1 is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with Metro Electric Incorporated for the 2009 water treatment plant improvements and electrical upgrade located in the City of Edcouch. Contract amount of $175,110, utilizing UCP City of Edcouch years 21, 22, and 23. Water sewer improvements, Precinct Number 1, years 19, 20, and 22.
Move to approve.
Water sewer
Second.
improvements.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, Urban County Program, Precinct Number 3 is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into construction contract with GP7 Construction, LLC for HUD CDBG-R flood drainage improvements to La Sueña subdivision located in Precinct Number 3, the amount of $261,612.50, utilizing year 22 flood drainage improvements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, Urban County Program, on behalf of the City of Edcouch, is requesting a consideration and action to award into a construction contract with United Contracting for the flood drainage improvements project located in the City of Edcouch in the amount of $214,061.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, if I may add, there was some question on the being able to include the construction contract, and it's so huge, but I've got copies of each one of them with me. Okay.
That's what I was going to comment, Judge, that we already discussed this, and we're going to try to figure out a way to link the agenda quick to the contracts, so that anyone can view the entire contract if need be.
Right.
But right now, we're attaching only a portion of the contract to the agenda system.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, our elections office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Nothing to report with item 15A. Item 15B, A1-33019, discussion, consideration, and approval to create the following temporary full-time positions. There are 7.
Move for approval. Second. That's items 2, 3, and 4 as well. Yeah, that's my second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2, approval to waive posting, hiring, and enrollment procedures.
Thank you.
It's all taken care of? Thank you very much.
Before you leave,
Yes,
can you, would you like to, on discussion and action, maybe give the court an overview of your discussions with ACT?
Yes, sir. Judge Garcia and I met with several of the board members from ACT, and they did recognize the fact that because there are so much enrollment going on, applications being filled out, they are actually bringing in hundreds of cards every week. This is not going to cease. They are going to work with us to try to bring up not just the process of applying to vote, but also the process of making sure that they go out and vote. So we are requesting, and I will bring that to the court to request additional staff for the department, because we are working with a minimal amount of employee, and this is not going to cease. They have done an incredible job. In fact, Judge, from May 14th to now, this past Saturday, we had processed over 18,000 pieces of voting, whether it be a new application, a change, or an update, over 18,000. So we have had my staff coming in on Saturdays to try to keep up with, because yesterday was the deadline to register to vote to participate in the runoff. And so we are continuing the process, and they are doing an incredible job. I will also be bringing to this Commissioner's Court the voting centers that we have also discussed, and which ACT is also very much on board with voting centers. And as I said, I will bring you information. I have already contacted the Secretary of State's office to participate, if this court agrees to, during the November 2013 constitutional. It's always a good time to start something new. So I will be bringing more information, and of course, ACT is on board to provide us with the locations as well. Anything else that you would like to add, Judge?
No, we were concerned about the last presidential election. We had people in line at 10 at night and into long hours of the day, of the night.
2008.
2008, and we're trying to make sure we get ready for it this time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are. The amount of course, locations is usually for Election Day is 74, but we're really going to try to make an effort and bring these people out to vote during early voting, which of course, you know, is 2 weeks. And so with everyone's help and everyone on board, I know we can have a great success.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 16, our Head Start program.
Good morning. We have an agenda item, acceptance and approval to award the the best valued proposal from job order contractor Alpha Building Corporation, awarded JOC through HCDC Choice Facility Partners in the amount of $176,683.24 for building repairs, renovations, additions, and/or alterations project 2012-018-06-12 to the Palmview 3 Head Start Center located at 1201 Paula Drive, Palmview, Texas. And I understand that purchasing has already reviewed that particular contract and has verified the figures that are there for that construction. I want to remind you, this is a project that has been going on for 3 months. We've been trying to get it approved because we do have classes that begin in the middle of August. And Centennial, who was the party at fault, if I may call them, that had agreed to pay for the expenses. And we're down to getting this contract approved, as well as the funding source. I know that Mr. Crane has been working to get the information for Centennial to agree to pay that amount of money, and I don't know where he is with that recommendation.
We're waiting for the amount.
There it is.
Right, now we can move forward.
How long would it take you to get that money?
We'll call them this afternoon.
Tell them to bring it over.
Commissioner, what I was bringing to her attention is that there is no funding for this agenda item. I understand the funding is a separate issue with Centennial agreeing to reimbursing us for the amount, or committing to pay that amount. Ms. Flores is requesting that the court approve an award of a proposal, but it's based on no funding.
That's what I was going to say, because we've got a month and a half to go, and for school, and we haven't even started on it. So we need to start on it and then worry about collecting from them, right?
But how do you award the proposal today?
At one time, Mr. Guerra had indicated that they might be able to, that the county might be able to subsidize that amount and get that reimbursement from Centennial.
Why
They
should
have
we-
not refused a figure from us.
We don't want to subsidize it. I mean, the money should be there. There's insurance there. Have claims been made?
I do not believe that the company I think that's one of the reasons, and I'm only speculating, that the company did not agree to proceed by fixing it themselves.
They did. We did not agree to their information as a contract.
Exactly. They weren't willing to do that. Their option was then have it done and we'll pay for it. I don't know if it's a bonding issue with them, if it's they don't want to have a claim made. I'm not sure. I'm speculating. I
Steve, what do
don't
you
know.
think it is?
They did not want to have a claim made on their insurance.
Yeah, but that's not our problem. We got a month and a half to go, and it's not gonna be ready by then.
Well, they don't know the figure. If I will go back and call them right now. and
We
see.
started
Really?
Tuesday
Can we approve
afternoon
it subject to
verifying
funding?
line by line on this proposal. It is now verified. I just handed
Because
Ms.
another week
Arce
goes
the
by.
copy and Mr. Tovar a copy of the verified proposal. I suggested to her that next week's agenda have two items. First, the acceptance and approval of the agreement to pay for these repairs, and then the award of the contract based on the money.
Just like I was telling Steve, we can approve it subject to funding and start, get a leadway on this, no?
Well, Alpha can't proceed to do anything until next week.
But I mean,
to
at
begin
least we don't have to come back to Commissioner's
I
Court
have
if
a
we get the
question. I have
funding
a
today.
question.
But I don't know what commitment Alpha
Well-
could make as far as outlaying anything in preparation to start the work. They still can't start it until we sign
Why
the
are we
proposal.
handling it this way? Usually when there's some issues, whether it be roofing or whatever type of construction through a general contractor or anybody that provides us services, if there's an issue with warranty or there's something happened, we need to get repairs done. Usually we go after the contractor to make sure he repairs the project.
Well, in this case, the contractor had said he would repair the project, but he wanted us to release him from anything before he would start the work. And we
If you'll
said we
recall,
can't
Commissioner-
release him.
Sorry.
He said we would not agree to release him for the work he was going to do to repair, because then we could end up in that situation where after he does crummy repairs, if that's what he did, we'd have no recourse back against him.
Well, we would never release him before. He's got to fix it first.
Well, that's the point. He would
Right.
not agree to
So
fix
why are
it
we
until we got a
tolerating this
release.
is my question.
I'm sorry?
Why are we tolerating this is my question. When someone doesn't want to provide the services they should be providing, there's other options that we can look at to make sure that it gets fixed, correct?
Well, in this case, he had already done the work. The work was shoddy. The contractor did not do it himself. He subcontracted with another contractor, which did the work. And this contractor said, yes, I'll pay for the repair of this work, but I want to release up front, and we would not agree to give him a release up front because then you'd have the work done and no recourse on the repair work.
So the general contractor's dealing with the subcontractors, what you're saying?
Correct.
But the general contractor is responsible.
The general contractor recognized his responsibility, called me last week saying, how much do I owe you? And I said, well, I don't have a figure yet. This is the first time I've heard the figure, so we will contact him before the meeting's out.
And at this point, has the contractor contacted you and is willing to give you a check already, Steve?
I'm sorry?
Is the contractor willing to give you a check already?
That's what he said when he called me last week. He's ready to give a check.
And are we sure about the figure, the 176?
We verified the proposal line by line, which we have to do.
What's gonna happen if it's not ready when the kids come back?
The same thing that happened in April and May when we had to abandon the building and the children are sent home and we do home services for an hour and a half a week, and we've lost children. And so that is what got us into going in the direction that we have been going. Centennial has never refused to pay. I want to clarify that because from the very beginning, they were willing to accept.
And is the contractor willing to pay for damages like that as well?
Commissioner Flores.
The contractor agreed to pay the amount of the repair.
To replace
make
the
a
roof.
motion?
To have the roof repaired. If
Did
you'll
you make a
recall,
motion
Commissioner,
to-
sorry.
Subject to
Subject to funding. Yeah, move for approval, subject to funding. On that.
Second.
And the funding is, are we then talking about either subsidizing or waiting for that check from?
Steve's
We
gonna go
cannot
talk
get
to
a
him today, don't
purchase
they?
order.
Correct.
Steve's gonna talk to him today, try to
Okay.
get the 170 some,
As
whatever
soon
it
as
is.
we get the purchase order, which means there's funding in place, then we can issue, the requisition, we can issue the purchase order.
All right, if there's an issue there, please come back quickly so that we can address it, and we may have to subsidize it for a while and then file a claim or something.
Am I to understand that we get approval to proceed, and do I need to bring back a letter to get approval to proceed? Or what is, 1 week makes a big difference
No,
right
you
now?
can proceed as long as we get that check. I think the way the motion reads.
Yeah,
Well,
subject to funding.
But
Judge,
she
but-
cannot give the company notice to proceed if they don't have a purchase order.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm looking at Sergio there. Why don't I do this for the sake of getting this project underway while this is getting resolved with legal? Why don't we just identify some funds, supplement it, and then we'll get it reimbursed? But, because if we don't, we're not going to be ready when the season starts up for these children.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, Sergio,
Okay.
can you do that?
We'll get together, we'll identify some funds. It's going to be temporary anyway while we reimburse ourselves.
So I'm gonna have to withdraw my motion then, right?
Correct.
So what's my motion now, Steve?
Your motion is going to be to approve, subject to the county providing supplemental funding until the Centennial funding has cleared the banks.
All right, that'll be my motion.
The initial motion and second having been withdrawn, we now have a motion, and do we need a second?
There's another question.
Yes, ma'am. We have another point of view.
Yeah, Virginia Townsend, Precinct 3. As I recall...
Can you speak into the microphone?
As I recall, Centennial, when they did it, it was never right. There was complaints right away, but it mostly involved the roof. And now, as I see this bid, the $176,683.24 bid, the guy says, the one who wants to fix it says, general conditions, $18,000, roof demolition, I can understand, interior demolition, installation of roof system, I can understand, interior ceiling insulation, but then that goes into fire alarm, electrical, tape float, and paint, $13,140, I don't understand that. Paint the exterior, do the ductwork, plumbing, and equipment. There's stuff added on to this subcontractor, which I believe is ABC. I don't know if Centennial will cover all of that. So what my question was, right, that's what I'm saying, though, there's so much, and I know the bond and everything, but there's so much added on to it that it gets very convoluted, and I didn't understand, and it's been going on and on and on. If Centennial said they would pay from the beginning any repairs that's necessary on the roof, well, I could understand that, but I don't understand all the rest of the stuff.
But what if it rained, it got wet, the sheetrock got wet, and everything got separated, the plumbing got separated?
This is everything to repair the roof.
Yeah, the way that...
I don't know. I would have to know that happened, Joe. I don't know.
I want to clarify. No, we were not aware that the roof was in bad condition when it was finished. And the part related to the inside, it's sagging.
Yeah.
So that includes, they are aware. Centennial sent their engineer down here to look at that, at all of that before they agreed to pay. And so all of this work is under a structural engineer, and so there may be work that has to be done on the floor too. Whatever work it is, they had agreed to pay.
That's the best check and balance. It's a company that's going to be paying, already looked at it, and has agreed to do it.
Then what is the problem?
There is no problem.
Originally, it isn't a problem. What happened was
why
that
not award it to them? Because they want a release up front.
they don't want to be held responsible after they
And
finish.
that's no way to do business.
So we devised a contract that held them responsible. If they were going to do it again, they had to do it right. They did not want to enter into that agreement. They turned around and told the county, I'd rather have you all get someone else and we'll pay it.
But may I ask something? We have a structural engineer who has to put a signature to the finishing of the work. He's supposed to be overseeing all of this. So is that not considered in the whole process?
I can't hear you.
You have a structural engineer who has designed the work, who has to put his signature once the work is done. So would that not be verification that it has been meeting all the requirements that were there of the work that had to be done?
Right.
We didn't go by just the contractor telling us they were going to do the work. It's going to be supervised and stamped approval by a structural engineer.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And don't forget, Valde.
And we will go ahead and contact the contractor to proceed. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I think
Well,
there's a bigger
to-
issue here, gentlemen, that we're not addressing.
Flores.
Something we need to address soon.
Just a minute, Raul.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, you wanted to make a point?
No, I just want to say that with the experience that we're receiving with this situation and the issue we're dealing with, this lingered long enough. There's other issues that we need to start addressing
Yes.
to correct the issues at hand right now. So maybe we can get together about it and look at this a little closer.
Yes, sir. I'll
you know,
call your
because
office. And
we
Ms.
have so
Flo-
many conflicting situations here, which there's only one thing, the contractor's responsible, should have already fessed up, and he was willing to, I understand. But we're the ones that should be demanding and set precedents of what we want done for this county. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Flores, yes, the notice to proceed is once Sergio and I get the funding in place so that the procurement aspect is taken care of.
We'll be in touch with your office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our planning department, 17.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Cecine, Planning Administrator.
Morning, sir.
Item on the agenda is preliminary approval of Quintana Auto Parts subdivision located in Precinct 1. It has been approved by the City of ETJ, and it's also made its rounds through the Drainage District, the Office of Environmental Compliance, the OSSF Department, and everything is also in order through the Advisory Board, has recommended preliminary approval, subject to any future comments from our office and the City of Mercedes. It's in order for preliminary approval by the court, sir.
Move to approve.
Second?
That includes A and B.
A and B, both Tijerina and Rio subdivision, again, is also one lot subdivision. It has made its rounds as well through the various departments, and everything's in order for that one as well, sir.
All right, motion and a second to provide preliminary approval to both A and B. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The second item is preliminary approval of variance request Cantu Heights subdivision. This is a two-lot subdivision. Again, it has been presented to the City of Mission. It has been approved by the city, and it also made its rounds through the various county departments, has been signed off by every county department. The variance is to allow a lot width of 50 feet on this one, where 70 is required. This is just a self-imposed rule. It's not a statutory requirement, so the court may grant a variance to this type of request. This is a division of property based on families. And because of the limitations that they have existing, we consider it not a detrimental issue, and the Subdivision Advisory Board has recommended approval for it.
Move to approve.
Need a second on 2A? Any further? We have a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item, Judge Santo Estates subdivision. It's a two-lot subdivision. Again, the City of Mission ETJ has been approved by the city and the various county departments as well. Again, this is another type of division, a family division. They're requesting a lot width of 55 where 70 is required. We see no objection in that, and the Advisory Board is recommending approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Final approval, Los Indios Estates, Precinct 1 is a 30-lot subdivision. It has been approved by the City of Donna. It also has been approved by the various county departments. It's been constructed, and we have the letter from Health for the installation of all the septic tanks have been installed. And
Everything's in compliance, sir?
Yes, sir. Everything's in compliance, and the Subdivision Advisory Board is recommending final
Move to
approval, sir.
approve. Check. That's item 3A.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Final approval, Vallejo subdivision is a six-lot subdivision located in Precinct 3. City of Peñitas has administratively signed off on it. We also have various approvals from the county departments. This is one of the subdivisions that Precinct 3 has worked with the residents out there. They didn't have water for over 30 years, and Precinct 3 through Commissioner Flores has been able to provide the services that they need, and also provide the sanitary sewer, the septic tanks, to have proper basic services for these lots. It's a family division that's been there for quite some time, and it's just bringing it into compliance with the model rules.
We've been working on it for about 10 years.
Yes, sir. It's been a long time coming, so it's now before the court for for the final approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And last, San Andreas subdivision is a one-lot subdivision located in Donna, ETJ, has been approved by the city. It's also been signed off by the various county departments, and the subdivision advisory report, subdivision advisory, it's a recommended final approval as well.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a festive 4th of July.
Thank you, sir. Item 18, Precinct 1.
Good morning, Commissioners. County Judge Cindy de la Cruz with Precinct 1. Approval and acceptance for County Judge Ramon Garcia or County Joel Quintanilla to sign agreed order that will allow county to pay third party for scrap tire cleanup project to resolve issues with current incinerators at Precinct 1.
Balde, is the funding in place for this item?
Actually, Mr. Ramirez can answer that question. Martin, you want to explain exactly how that's going to work?
Okay. The violation that can be resolved for that situation with that air curtain incinerator is by doing a supplemental environmental project, which allows the county to pay for a project that will eliminate the penalty. But the expedited process requires that we use a third party, a project that has already been approved.
Judge, Commissioners, I'll go ahead and explain the situation. This is a violation on the incinerator that is actually housed at Precinct 1. That incinerator has not been used for about 3 years now. Now that we're putting it together and we're going to start using it to burn our brush and make it environmentally safe, TCEQ has come down and go ahead and instilled a fine on Precinct 1 because nobody ever took the time back then to actually send them a letter saying that the incinerator was not in use. So rather than pay this fine to CEQ, we're opting to use these monies to do some environmental cleanup within Precinct 1, within the area of Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken, that's being demanded by TCEQ. So rather than just give up a fine and let it go and not put it to any other use,
Just keep it here.
we're saying keep it in the precinct, let's clean up another area and put it to good use.
I was going to ask you, I think the incinerator was never used because it was in a property that was pretty close to where there's subdivisions, they didn't want it in that area.
Right, and just to make it perfectly clear, this is an issue that's been around for years prior to Commissioner
Right.
Quintanilla.
This was before our term, but just to let you know, Commissioners and Judge, we are going to put it to good use now. We've already put it in a location approved by TCEQ. It's going to be environmentally safe, and we're hoping to get it up and running within a couple of weeks.
You know, here about 3 weeks ago, I was watching the news, and there's a company in Cameron County, Valde, that's going to take those tires and shred them and sell them for something they're going to use it for. And I saw the price was pretty cheap, $1 a tire. And they would, it's pretty close to Precinct 1, maybe you
Yes, it is.
because I know we've got a contract with some people from
We're
Laredo or
looking into it
somewhere.
already.
So, and I think it was a little higher. How much was it over there?
Commissioner, I don't recall what the
Check with the ones in.
I think it was costing us more than that.
Was it?
Yeah, but
Okay.
this one was pretty interesting because they were going to go ahead and separate the
We're gonna
metal
chip
from the
it,
rubber.
separate it,
And use the metal for something,
correct.
and it was $1 a tire, and I think it was $2.50 for truck tires.
So with that in mind, I'd like to entertain a move that we approve the item on the agenda, Judge.
How much money are we talking about?
$2,880.
Move for approval.
Can the funding, Balde, is in place?
The funding will be in place for this project. Again, we have to.
Subject to
okay.
funding.
Thank you.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
So if y'all want to use our incinerator, you're more than welcome to, whatever you like. In Precinct 1. Sunset Park. We'll be having some mulch as well if you want some. Finally got upright. You should go back and see it.
Item 19, Precinct 2.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Silguero, Precinct 2, Commissioner Hector Tito Palacios. Item 19A is approval and all appropriate action for the following personnel actions. One, approval to delete the following positions. The positions as listed, total budgeted salary for the positions that are vacant is $136,111.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 19A2 is approval to create the following positions as listed. The total budgeted salary for those positions is $136,042.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye. What are you going to do with the rest of the money, Tito?
Transfer to precinct 2.
Item 3 is its approval to transfer employee number 143456 from slot number 003, Special Projects Program Manager from Road and Bridge to slot number 0032, Parks Director with the same salary, same current salary.
Move to approve.
Second.
Raul, I thought the policy required for you to advertise for those kind of jobs, huh?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of.
This is only a change of classification, no?
Well, we're transferring from one department to another.
Yeah. Just transfer, yeah.
Sergio has informed me that the policies allow for this. Yes, sir.
Where's our human resources person?
Sylvia Rios. They signed off on the transfers. Everything has been in, all the paperwork is completed and in order.
It's within the same precinct, so there shouldn't be any problem.
Yes.
And you're using your own money, so.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 is approval to transfer employee number 061808 from slot number 001, Office Clerk Sanitation, to slot number 0010, Clerk Receptionist, Precinct 2 Administration, Road and Bridge, with same
to
salary at
approve.
$28,894.
Move item 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
4, 5, and 6?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 19B is Precinct 2 Road Maintenance. This is approval of 2012 appropriation of funds into Precinct 2 Dicker Road Project, program number 062, in the total amount of $208,574.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, Mr. Varela.
Item 20, discussion and consideration approval to create the following temporary full-time position. Slot number TO 89, position title Office Clerk, budget salary $18,720.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Number 2,
2, 3,
approval
and 4,
to waive
move for approval.
post-hiring and enrollment procedures.
Move for approval on 2, 3, and 4.
Got it.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Varela.
Item B.
What about B?
Bingo B.
Yes, I forgot B. Discussion and consideration and acceptance, approval, and authority for county judge, that's you, Ramon Garcia, to sign Hidalgo County paperwork on FM 681 and FM 2221.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
May you all have a happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Mr. Varela.
Ching, ching.
Item 21A,
We're going to your
Judge,
house, Mingo.
is the approval to reappoint Forrest Reynolds as the Hidalgo County RMA member term.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. The term is beginning February the 2nd of 2012 through February the 1st of 2014. All right, item 22. Anything to present? All right, thank you, Mr. Cruz. Item 23.
Thank you. Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, nothing to report or action to be taken on 23A1, 2 or 3, A, B, and C respectively. Under item 4, pursuant to Chapter 791 of the Texas Government Code, interlocal cooperation agreements, requesting acceptance and approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Hidalgo and Willacy counties, both being political subdivisions of the state of Texas for the purpose of rendering and receiving autopsy services.
Marty, on the interlocal, the DA's office is going to be responsible for billing?
Correct. According to Mr. Casares, he sent an email out and also acknowledging that you would be copied on such billings.
Thank you.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B1, A, B, and C, I believe at this time, unless there is any objections, no action will be taken. I believe the funding issue has still not been resolved. Commissioner, is that correct? Is that correct? Okay. Going on to item C, Precinct 2, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under
Do you want to
Texas.
discuss this, Sergio?
There's no action on
Do
B?
you want to discuss
I'm
it?
asking for no action. Well,
Let's go ahead and discuss it anyway, Marty.
okay.
Currently, the constable building,
No, it's only my precinct that has a hard time. I don't know why.
So we had a discussion about the potential chance of doing the infrastructure, the parking lot, and some of that separate from what the bid was. When they went out for bid, did they do them as separate items?
there are two separate projects. One, the first project is the actual construction of the constable facility,
Let's
and the
keep-
second project
if-
is the drainage and
If I may,
parking lot.
Sergio,
Yes, sir.
let's keep in mind, Commissioners and Judge, that we went out for bids on the constable's facility. That was what was allocated budgetary-wise, and that was a focus. But what was never brought up was the issue with the drainage that we must fix, which is an added item to this actual bid process, and the parking lot as far as the needed parking, not only the section in front of the constable's area, but the entire area. So this is why the cost is higher now. It's strictly a budgetary issue. I think it's time that we asked Sergio to go ahead and allocate the funds and just put it through. We're wasting valuable time. This project's been on the back burner for many years. This is something that I would really like to see happen, and I'm going to ask that we get it done.
No, it's just a question. So is there an attempt for us to do some of the in-house infrastructure? It's just a simple question, or are we going to let the contractor do that?
At this point, we've chosen to let the contractor do it because we're trying to finish up all our other projects as well.
It's a simple question. Are we going to let the contractor work?
Well, they bid it out as separate items. My point is, some of the scope of work can be done by county forces. My simple question was, are we going that route, or are we going to let the contractor do all of it?
At this
It's a
point,
savings, I think we did the numbers, there's a savings of about 70,000, somewhere around there. But it was just a question.
Why should we not opt to go with the savings?
it's not a matter of not opting to it, Judge. It's a matter of that we've got so many other projects that we're trying to complete that we would be pulling away from those projects to do this. So either way, we're being affected, whether it be savings of $70,000 here or having to go out for bids on other projects that we're trying to do.
Currently, the projects, as they stand, as the bids stand, and the current funding that we have, we would be roughly about $850,000 short on these two projects themselves. We would need to identify funding from other projects. There are some projects that have been done through other forces, as far as on the courthouse limestone panel project, that was done through general fund. Now, there's roughly about $200,000 in that project that was shifted over to general fund. That can either get, again, those $200,000 can be utilized for this project, or they can go back to the courthouse renovations, which were the initial intent of those CO funds. We have the parking lot in the administration building, roughly about $150,000 there. Now we're planning on doing the commissioner's courtroom on that parking lot, so either those funds can be used, again, for this project, or it can be used for the actual construction of the
I
commissioner's
would say,
courtroom.
gentlemen, if possible, let's try to redirect these funds toward this project, get it done. This project's ready. The courthouse renovation project is not ready, nowhere near being ready, correct?
The courthouse renovations, we do have the fire suppression system that they're looking at constructing. There's also the annex roof that needs to be, I guess, rehabilitated, and we're looking at that as well. So it'd just be a matter of the court to see which projects if they would want to defer some of these projects to be able to do the constable building at this time.
Well, all I'm offering is our in-house crews to be able to reduce the cost overall, so there can be some savings, whatever it is. I'm offering it to Precinct 1, and hopefully we'd be engaged to be able to save some money.
If
and
you're
not
willing to
pull
do
from
that,
all
I'm
the
willing
other-
to entertain it. That's not an issue. If you want to do the entire parking, you can do it as well. It's not an issue.
Yeah, we can work something out. I mean,
Yeah,
you can
'cause
use
we're
your,
gonna need you.
and then we can use our
Okay.
paving crew. I mean, we've
I'm
got our
just-
own drainage.
What I have available is not available. You know what I'm trying to say, my people? And if you're willing to pitch in and help out, let's get it done. Let's start the building.
I believe that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So how do we go about putting that into the form of a motion?
But you still have shortage of funding. That's
Yeah, we're still short of funding. We would still have to come back and,
How much are we gonna be short if we do the work ourselves?
if you do the,
The contract for the parking lot and off-site drainage is $432,000.
That includes labor and everything?
that includes
That's
labor and
turnkey.
materials.
That's turnkey. Now, the building itself is if you award the bid, is $724,000.
Keep in
You're
mind
still-
that
The
some,
building's gotta be built by
You're
then.
still short $350.
but keep in mind, Sergio and commissioners, that some of the parking lot, it's okay that we all pitch in and do it, which I greatly entertain, but there's some work that our precinct crews cannot do. For example, like curb,
The curb and gutter would still have to be
area.
outsourced.
And there's some other areas that we may not want to touch, like the compactions as well. We want to make somebody responsible for this. Paving
Yeah,
is
'cause I
one
know we
thing.
did the courthouse and we did our own
As
multi-purpose
far as
center
the parking lot, we've done, I think, the Kmart building, we've
Yeah.
done the parking lot at the courthouse. We did the parking lot, also, two parking lots at the courthouse,
But are we
the one in the
talking
main
about-
square.
Are we talking about overlay, or are we just talking about complete?
No, we can go and get,
I believe it was a complete reconstruction on those.
we can get somebody to do the curb and gutter, we can go in there and finish.
Right.
Normally, that's, when we do the parking lots, normally we've outsourced the curb and gutter, and
Yeah.
we've done everything else in-house.
Well, then I'd like to see if we can get the building approved today, and if we have to go back out for parking lot issues, we can do that as well.
As far as the building, we would still be short roughly about $400,000, which, again, as I mentioned, we could utilize some of those other project funds to realize these projects, if that's a little
Money
important.
years ago. We put all that money for the building almost a year ago. How much money did we appropriate for the building about a year ago? I remember we started talking about this.
For the
For the
building,
actual the constable building.
the total funding was $500,000 for the building.
And how much is it now?
Right now, we have available $340,000.
How much?
$340,000, we've spent money on engineers and architects, and the project manager as well.
So you need 160?
No, we
No,
need
no, we would need roughly
$400,000 to award the
$400,000 to
building.
award
But you
the
see,
building.
but to begin with, when you allocated $500,000, that wasn't enough to begin with, realistically.
Well,
to get this project going.
the building out of function grew.
That's irregardless, man. You can't build a facility like that for $500,000 and not include
Correct.
engineers and
Due to
architecture
the,
fees.
due to the
Yes.
functions that were
Right.
necessary
Were there any
components.
changes on the building?
Yes.
It grew
That's the
by,
reason.
it
They
would,
kept
Yes,
changing on it.
it changed and it grew.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Due to the requirements that were, set forth, by the constable who's here and the necessities that are required.
we were not going to build a facility that he would outgrow as soon as he moved in. This is just accommodating what needs.
I don't dispute the constable needs space. I've been out there, I've worked in that area. I don't dispute it at all. One of my projects that went over bid, I had to reevaluate need versus want. I'm just making sure that has been done, obviously, because we definitely want to suffice need, but on the wants, we have to make sure that, we keep that in respect, especially if we're over budgeted.
When we designed this project, we designed it specifically on need. The constable can attest to that.
Can't remember when the.
Do you want to make a statement, sir? Yeah, please.
What I have to say in this morning is that we've been working on this project since 2007. It's going on 6 years. We've had several meetings with the budget, with purchasing, with the commissioner, myself, the architect, the engineers, and meeting after meeting, everything seemed to me that it was being approved. Now here it is, time to get going, move forward. Now the question now is, there's no more funding.
No, what happens, it's up to I guess the commissioners, because when we went out for bonds back in the 2000s, everybody sets aside the money for their buildings. Apparently, this money was not set aside for a particular building, was it? I mean, when I built mine,
Otherwise, it would be there.
when I build my multi-purpose and my buildings, I mean, if I go out for $3 million, I'll put aside $1 million, whatever it's gonna cost. Apparently, it wasn't done here, was it?
We had $500,000 set aside.
The issue, when the issuance went out, which was in 2006, The original appropriation of the CO funds from the precinct did not include the Constable Building. It was included in the purpose. However, when Precinct 1 appropriated all their funds, Constable Building was not included. In December of '07, they went back and appropriated a little over $300,000 for the building. And then in 2008, when we started having the meetings and we knew we were going to be short, an additional, I believe, the budget went up to $500,000. So there was additional funds added to the building. Since then, I think the scope changed. It was originally for the Constable Building. Then I believe Commissioner Handy wanted to switch the purpose from a Constable Building to her administration building and switch over the constables to her existing facility. That was not included in the purpose, an administration building for the precinct. So then it reverted back. We started looking again at plans for a Constable Building, originally at 300,000 square feet were the original plans that we looked at. At that point, I think we were about $150,000 short. Since then, it's grown to, I think, a little bit over 4,000 square feet because of the need, because now the precinct is now, Precinct 1 and 5 is going to be together, so.
The bottom line, how much money do we need to finish this project? It's going to be like this for the next 10 years.
For the facility, it's 400,000.
How much?
400,000.
How much do we have right now?
320.
Well, no, the
What's the
building,
total cost?
the building is 700,
So you're short,
724,000.
you're short 400,000.
We're short 400,000.
Well, you don't think they should go find them somewhere? We need to get this to, get it done.
Now,
Built.
Commissioner, to be clear, that's just the building.
Yeah, but we could, and then you're gonna need some, probably 100 and some for the asphalt, the caliche and stuff.
Well, then you would, I'm presuming then you would reject the off-site improvements and drainage, the parking and drainage, because that's a separate bid.
So that's the reason we need to help in with our own crews, because it's gonna be out of hand.
Well, yes, if you were to fund the whole thing, you need $800,000. You need to fund the building, in other words. You've got money to do the drainage and parking. Okay? Well,
So
you're
what do
short.
we have to do? Do we have to go across the road, borrow the money to finish it up, and then when they sell bonds, go ahead and reimburse them,
Again,
or what?
we have funds within the COs that we can reprogram to this project, the 400,000, so we can get the building construction going. However, we will now need funds in our next issuance or whenever we go out again
Yeah, but-
for bonds, we will need to
But how soon
go
is
back
that
and
gonna be?
reimburse back the courthouse fund for that.
The bottom line, we need to get this thing finished.
Can I ask a question? Obviously, the constable office, we're doing this M Road restitution, the constable for precinct 4, it's about office space. Is this just office space that we're talking about?
Our office right now is between Judge Sines and Judge Morales' office.
Right.
Each JP has given us part of their waiting area, the lobby, for our department, which is, we're talking about an area of 400 square feet for myself, my clerk, and about 10 deputies.
Well, and the only reason why I'm
But
asking,
right now, I'm thankful for Commissioner Quintanilla. He has given us some of his space for some of my deputies. So we're split up right now.
what I'm asking is there's no holding cells there. It's because it's
No, sir,
$180 a square foot.
Right. We had originally put in the plans for 2 cells, jail cells. We went up to Austin, we met with jail standards,
That got
and
deleted.
we came down to just a holding facility.
Holding area.
So we can cut back on the cost.
So there's a holding area.
Right, just a waiting area,
Okay.
right.
These cells got
We need to get
deleted.
it done, right?
It ain't gonna go away.
Excuse me. Just to keep in mind that also not only the constable's department, but it's also going to be used for an emergency office in case of an emergency. That building is equipped for during a hurricane or
For the generator.
generator. Right, correct. So we can utilize that for the precinct, for that area, for the citizens of that area, precinct 1.
Find the money, right?
We're already scrapping, let's give you an, Commissioner. We have to do it.
We have to do it. So what do you recommend?
We can come back next week and bring the transfers from those projects that I had mentioned earlier, that we're gonna, we can shelve the parking lot improvement and the administration building, the limestone panel, redirect those funds that were slated for that and move them over to this project.
Meanwhile, I guess Commissioner Quintanilla can be working with us on trying to get the equipment out there after they finish the building and do the drainage and the...
Yes, we'll need to buy the material, I believe
Yeah.
the inlets, the curb and gutter, for the, and the asphalt for that as well.
So we move to next week and place it as it is today. I'm presuming the court is going to award the building
I'd like to
and
move-
reject bids on the...
I'd like to go ahead and move that we
improvements.
approve the building of the construction of the facility based on funding availability.
Based on what?
Funding availability, which you're going to be working on, correct, sir?
Yes, I can send to each of the members of the court later on today the funding or the projects that we're recommending that we reallocate the funds from. That way y'all can see what account it is, what the purpose was, the original purpose was, and y'all can have a better feel for what projects we're going to be putting on the back burner to be able to realize this
Let's
project.
get it done.
Now-
It's taking forever.
Okay, now, we do have another issue with this bid. We have a bidder who's requesting their bid be withdrawn.
Which is the lowest bidder.
It was apparently the lowest bidder by $64,000. Now, we have a bid bond issue that would...
But you're talking about for the facility or the parking? We're not addressing the parking, ma'am.
Is Bougainvillea's for the parking?
Yes, we're just
Okay.
addressing the
So
facility.
I'll address that then with you when we come to reject the bids.
Well, your agenda item says building offices.
Well, it's the whole complex.
Okay.
Well, next time, go ahead and take off the other one.
So we're taking no action on A and B, and we're proceeding with C? From what I'm hearing.
Who are the principals in Bougainvillea Construction?
I'd have to look.
I don't know.
The backup. I can send that to you.
All right.
Marty, you saying that the A and B is related to the parking
To
lot only?
yes, to the
C2?
item 2, yes.
And why are they requesting that we allow them to?
Their reason is that they did not submit addendum 3, and addendum 3 probably impacted their bid. They have no evidence.
Which is
However,
on-
that's an issue that I'd like to take up with the court next week when we bring it up, because to go after their bid bond, we would have to award to them.
But I'm not suggesting that we go after them. I'm just asking what
Well-
the reasoning is. It may be a good reason.
Well, that is his reason. He's
We're-
telling us in his letter that he did not submit addendum 3. And obviously, if he didn't submit it, that may have impacted his bottom line.
Ma'am,
And that
we're-
may be why he's low. But that is an issue we could take up with the second part of the award next week.
All
On
right,
the
so we're
parking
no
lot.
action on A and B?
Action on C, I don't understand. I don't know what the court's going to do.
Marty, but if there's no action on B, why do you need to go and reject the award?
Pardon me?
You're not going to take any action? on-
No, we're taking no action on A or B
Bring it back next week.
until next week.
Can we bring it back?
Let's just bring it back next
Can we
week,
bring back the
ma'am.
construction facility
Yeah,
next week?
I'll
That way we
rescind
can
my
have the
motion.
funding in place and everything gets.
So everything will be
already approved with
placed on,
everything.
I'll just put it in a
I'll
different
rescind
order.
my motion, Judge.
All right.
Okay, going on to item C, precinct 2, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated to the county's approved pool of appraisal service providers for gas line easements for McCall Road project located in precinct 2. Those were the professional appraisal service at 92, Leonel Garza and Associates at 100, and HLH appraisals at 90. Does the court wish
Yes, ma'am.
to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Need a second? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And 3 is authority to negotiate a professional appraisal services contract with the number 1 ranked firm, Leonel Garza and
Move
Associates.
for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, on item D, This is requesting authorization and approval to solicit and request proposals from awarded job order contractors for the purposes of installation services only through the county's membership and participation in various cooperative purchasing programs and associations there's 3 projects listed, 4 rather. The building roof repairs for the auxiliary court annex, that's next to the courthouse north. Elections building located 105 South 10th Avenue. You also have the Sheriff's Evidence Warehouse at 314 North 14th. And then the old administration building, the atrium, that's the one of the old former administration building. And these would be through the 3 recognized JOCs that we are members of associations through TCPN and through the Harris County Department of Education, those being Facilities USA, Alpha, and CAS. Now, there is a note from the auditor's office that funding has not been identified for these. The one that has been identified has been the former administration building. We do have funds in place. And just as a side note and information for the court today, we are receiving at 3 o'clock today the bids for the renovation of the first, second floors of that building. It does not include the roof, but there is money identified for that. What isn't identified are the other 3 roofs. We had a assessment done of those roofs. In a parallel issue, those 3 roofs are under a potential litigation issue that possibly could then offset the expenses on repairing these roofs. We've got a budget of anywhere for the 3 roofs, other than the old administration building, of possible repairs of $135,000 to repair those 3 roofs. The atrium roof of the old administration building is anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000, depending on the system that you use. So right now, we're asking merely to go out and seek proposals so we can get some hard figures for the court to consider.
Marty, but the funding is not totally in place yet, right? Only
No, sir.
portions of-
Identified for sure is the old administration building. The other 3 is a little complicated because of the issue on a claim.
So what is your recommendation?
My recommendation is to at least seek the proposals and see what kind of monies we're talking about while the other process is ongoing.
So you need it approved?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval?
Need a second? Are there any questions? If not, I need a second.
Now, recall that this would be only labor. That's all we're seeking proposals for, so that we could supply the materials.
Yeah.
All right, those in favor of the motion is made and seconded indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, on item E, this is Colonia Access Program Precinct 3, requesting acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering agreement for the provision of construction materials testing for Border Colonia Round 3 projects with LNG Engineering and Laboratory, as authorized and approved back on May 29th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is requesting approval of work authorization 1 through that contract for a proposed fee of $24,421.33 to provide construction materials testing for those Colonia Access Program Round 3 projects.
Approve.
Second.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For item F1, this is the Colonia Access Program Precinct 4, acceptance and approval to execute a professional services engineering agreement for the provision of construction materials testing services
Move to
for
approve.
Border Colonia, and that's with LNG Engineering and Laboratory.
Move for approval, second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is approval of work authorization 1 for contract, the contract you just awarded with LNG Engineering and Laboratory for a proposed fee of $24,386.63.
Move for approval.
Second.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On item G1, I am going to be requesting no action on A. We're going to proceed with item B. I will explain on A after we take action on B. This is authority to purchase through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with General Services Administration Contract Number 07F0117U, 1 Person Skywatch through requisition number 217304 in the amount of $112,729.27. The PO is sufficient, no agreement is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
A is the reason we're taking no action is because the GSA contract does not permit this company to offer us demonstration or floor models as the case in this item A. It is a demo. It is being proposed at a very good discount. However, that isn't covered by the GSA contract. We will bring it back next week under a different type of option. Thank you. That's all that I have.
All right, thank you, Marty. All right, next item is open forum. First presenter is Fern McClarty.
Good morning. I've got a couple of things. I wanted to speak on open forum. I'm hoping that Joseph and Ramon's files are getting as thick as mine about the emails and phone calls. And I found a form on the computer. It talks about tips for contacting lawmakers. Each phone call to a local office represents 10 people with the same opinion. They have one, if you're going to call Washington, they represent 500 people. For each email represented, there's 100 people. Each letter represents 500 people, and each visit represents 1,000 people. I believe that Precinct 4 had someone come in, so that's 1,000 people for just that person. The people out there are trying to get a hold of y'all. I do understand that the county judge office has returned the calls that they were told, that the people were told would get them. We do appreciate that because I am getting emails telling me they finally did get back with me. Thank you very much. So that we do thank you for doing the word that you said you would do. All right, the second thing, we were in the Annex building last week in a court. We sat most of the afternoon. And I don't know what we pay that private company for security, but from what I could see, we're getting, the best word I can think of is screwed. They were putting down, something got dropped on the ground, and they put one of those little yellow cone things to be sure we didn't fall down. But while we're sitting there watching the door, people were coming in with the fruit baskets that look like a flower, but it's fruit, were brought in. No shirt telling who they were or anything. No one asked. They went in the elevator and went upstairs. Sitting there, 2 men came through. They had boxes. We don't know where they were from, but no one stopped to ask them where they were going, what they were taking or anything. We go to the second floor and we find out that that's a court where they take the children away from parents. And last week they had 2 incidences where they were fights and things going on with the parents. They don't even have a bailiff. We went to the courthouse just before this, and I found a lot of bailiffs sitting at the front door and sitting on a bench, waiting for weddings. When they're doing nothing that secures their court, when there's a court over there that needs security, because when you take a child from a parent, they're certainly not going to bow down and say thank you very much. So we need security there. I don't know what we're paying that private company. They do not have any weapons. They are, from what I could see, they didn't do anything. They were standing around talking to the housekeeping and stuff there. So we would ask y'all to try to keep up and keep everyone safe there. Because the rooms upstairs, like I say, think about someone trying to take your children or your grandchildren away from you, and maybe you don't think that it's a cause that you should give up. So I certainly would fight. I wouldn't give up. So I'm just asking you to take care of that building and the people that are in there. Thank you.
All right, next presenter is Virginia Townsend.
Good morning again. I was there looking at that same court and being there and seeing the same thing that Fern saw. I don't know why we have that security bunch over there. I remember when we hired them, It was to watch the court, I don't know, parking. I think that's why they were hired. Anyhow, whatever they're doing, it's not helping. It's not security. It's no good. And we definitely put the cart before the horse whenever we put Child Protective Services up there on second floor, which they like where they are. They don't want to be moved and everything because they have everything there, district clerk and everything. But you can't have them up there without security. What are we thinking? They don't have any protection at all. So the ladies sit in the office unprotected. The judge is there in a courtroom unprotected. All the people are sitting out, and the reason we got sent up there is because one of the judges said, go up and see how well facilities did in making a courtroom up there. It's really worked out well. So we go up there, but the ladies are saying, that work there, are saying, man, we are scared to death. We have no protection. And there was 2 fights last week, and it's just not, nobody is checking to see if those people have weapons. No, not a good idea. We got the cart before the horse. So get the sheriff's department to put some kind of protection over there. And as far as I'm concerned, you can get rid of the security that we have over there. It's absolutely worthless. Thanks.
Valde, maybe you can look at, see how much we're paying those security people, and either give the sheriff department or the constable precinct 4 a couple of positions.
Yes, sir.
All right, that concludes open forum. At this time, pursuant to 551-071 and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The camera's still on.
All right, it's 11:57. We're going to go ahead and reconvene back in open session. Under item 26A, under real estate acquisition.
A parcel on Tower Road where we have an appraised value of $160 and a counteroffer of $1,000 for a difference of $840. And I'm going to recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Guerra? Baldi? All right, we're now under 26B. Do you want us to proceed to C and give you additional time, or?
I'll do it up here. Item 20, under open session, item 26B, pending and/or potential litigation assessment of county buildings and filing of claims. Judge Commissioners, I want us to refer back to the agenda, item 5A1 and 2. Item 5A1, I'm requesting exemption from the competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 2620248-4.
So moved. For the exemption.
Yes, it would be for the exemption of professional service for the provision of legal services representation.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
For the record, I'm abstaining on this particular item. Monica, can you go ahead and get me that form?
Okay, and item 5A2, I'm requesting the engagement with the firm of Mostyn Law Firm and the Solis Law Firm for the provision of legal services representation in connection with under 26B, pending and/or potential litigation, specifically assessment of county buildings and filing of claims.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And for the record, the motion carries, and for the record, I'm again abstaining on item 5A2, A2, yes.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. And item 26C, our last item, would be C 1788-12-F, Clotilde H. Flores versus Bayview Loan Servicing LLC and Lázaro Gallardo Jr., Hidalgo County Precinct 3 Constable. Judge Commissioners, for the record, we're assigning this issue to Josie Ramirez's office for Mr. Michael Garza to facilitate on behalf of the county.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.